you have nothing to lose because you're not really making anything. You're not really making any money right now. I don't think that's the business for you. Like, I just think you're 18, you're young. The issue is either if you can't get these clients yet, right? Because maybe they look at you and you're like, oh, he's a young kid, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I don't know. So when you run the ads, they're like, oh, the ads don't work, this and that. It's like, no, you're a dip. And then you have to end up doing everything for them. It's not even an opinion, it's just fact. It's easier to scale done with you. As you're a young kid, you're probably not very skilled at a lot of stuff yet. Hey man.
Dude.
That was Young Gun Day.
What's
up, bro?
What's up?
How old are you?
18.
What's up, man? Nice to meet you.
I'm doing good, man.
Yeah? Where'd you fly in from? Are you from here or no?
Nah, I am from here, but I was in Houston.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude.
Is that where you live?
That is where I live.
Where in Houston?
Huntsville area, somewhere around.
Okay, cool, yeah. I'm from, do you know where Friendswood is?
Friendswood? No.
No?
I just moved there recently. So.
That's cool, man. Yeah, so those are my stomping grounds, man.
Yeah, okay, shoot.
Well, dude, I'm excited to spend some time with you. So let's start with the business. What do we got? What are we working with?
Okay, so I have a lead gen agency for solar professionals, so like brokers, sales reps, stuff like that, people that sell solar. And we run ads for them to generate leads. So like, phone number, emails and stuff. And then we qualify them, personally vet them through the phone.
So you're like, you run the ads and you qualify the leads?
Yeah, qualify them.
Wow,
and then we vet them and then we set that appointment on their calendar. And all you have to do is show up. That's it.
Well, it's a good life. Okay.
I wish, bro.
And so like, walk me through some numbers of like how much revenue you're doing, like your team size, what your goal is, like walk me through some more stuff.
Okay. So I got my partner, me, and I got one media buyer, but he's like, hey, I'll do shit for free. Just teach me. And so I've been training him, and we do nothing really consistently. We've done months where we've done like, maybe around 8K.
Okay.
And then some months we've done, around like 1 or 2, sometimes even 0.
So we'll just say like for now, we'll just do like pretty low, like let's say like 3K a month average.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Okay. And just so I understand the service, like what's your service cost?
We charge $2,500 as like service, and then $1,500 in ad spend a month.
Okay. So 1,500 ad spend. Okay. And so you're getting pretty much like one client a month, if that.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
And then how do you guys get clients right now?
So we do a lot of Facebook ads.
Okay.
So most of that money, when we do make a lot more money, we throw that into Facebook ads. And then sometimes we'll run in like Facebook groups, and then a bunch of referrals as well. Like people just kind of giving us
Facebook ads and Facebook groups. Okay. Yeah. So like how much money do you spend on ads to get one customer?
I would say, there was a month we did like, it was like $300 CPA, but I would say on average, maybe around like
cost of CPA, so application or cost of acquisition?
Acquisition. So
you're getting a sale for $300
at one point, and then after that we changed our offer and started, instead of we did the 2,500, but then that was like a 2,500 one time. It was not month to month, so we changed it to month to month because it was just terrible. And that's when it started skyrocketing to around $500 to $800.
Yeah, so instead of a one-time fee.
Yeah.
Well, because so like before, would you charge them one time and then just run their ads forever?
Yeah, literally. And then
well, yeah, that's a great offer. It's stupid for you though.
Yeah, it is, because we'll go months on months and they won't close a thing, and then we don't get no commission back.
Oh, because okay, so make sure you just explain everything in detail. So you get commissions on the back end if they close?
Yeah.
Okay. And they wouldn't close, you wouldn't get anything.
Yeah, if they wouldn't close, and even the sales cycle is just too long in solar. So
sure. Okay. So $2,500 a month, $1,500 of ad spend minimum they have to spend, right? Mm-hmm. Is that like your minimum? Can they spend less than that or no?
No, it's a minimum. They have to spend more than that.
Facebook ads, Facebook groups. So I need to know, how do you usually get the client? So I get you ran ads, but like how do you usually get a client? So at the end of this year, let's say you got 12 clients, where do most of them come from?
Probably Facebook ads for sure.
Okay. Your cost of acquisition is what on average? So how much money do you have to spend to make one sale?
Probably around $800, $1,500.
800 or what'd you say?
$800 to $1,500 sometimes.
Okay. That's a big jump. Like,
yeah.
Like on average,
Probably say like 1,000.
Okay. So say 1,000. Okay. And then how old are you?
18.
Okay, 18. Are you living at home?
Yeah.
Okay. Walk me through like what your goal is. Let's start with that.
Yeah. So my goal is to at least hit 10K by the end of this year.
Okay.
Like cash collected. And then after that, we're looking at hitting 50K.
Okay. And then are you going to school? You're done with school?
I'm done with school.
Okay. So you're done with high school?
Yeah.
Not going to college?
Not going to college.
Okay. How do your parents feel about that?
I dropped out of high school. So they were
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, they were.
Damn.
She would write in my notebook every morning, like, make sure you do what you're supposed to do at school, and I never did it. And
wow,
the thing
why?
is,
Why?
because in the Florida curriculum and then Houston or Texas, sorry, are just completely different. So I went to the Texas school and they're like, hey, you have all the credits to graduate, but you also need to do you have to do 2 years of Spanish or some type of language credit or something.
Okay.
And in Florida, you don't have to do that. So it was like, okay, I'm in senior year coming into Texas, and now they're telling me I need 2 more years of classes to get 2 extra credits. Like this, bro. Like I'm just out. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. I mean, if you're going to do business, it doesn't. Yeah, but I'm sure your parents didn't like that. Okay, so, and then your business partner, he's your age, lives at home?
It's a she, and like, yeah.
She? Okay.
Yeah, so she pretty much is like the investor into this. I pretty much run everything, like build everything.
Oh, she gave you money for it?
Yeah, so she was investing in me. She'd invest in the paid ads, and then anything that we would close,
okay,
it would just go straight back into the biz.
Okay, how old is she?
She's about like 30 something.
30 something. Okay, so what did you need money for?
So I'm not a huge fan, and maybe that's the problem with cold inbound stuff, doing all that. So I was like, I jumped into a pro coaching program back in February, and they just kind of walked me through like what is the easiest way, fastest way to get stuff going. They just obviously recommended ads.
Okay.
That's kind of how I started.
Cool. So I guess the most immediate question is how does it work? Is it 50-50 or how does the business work?
Yeah, so the equity is 50-50, but she's like, I don't expect to get anything out of this until it like actually starts skyrocketing.
Okay. So let's say in a month you make about $3,000.
Yeah.
You spend $1,000 on ads, so you get to keep the $2,000 for you, or how's that work?
No, so we'd put that, so because the business is not growing or self-sustaining, like or very consistent, we just throw that money right back into ads to get that next
Okay,
customer.
so really it's just like all the money is just like you don't see it right now.
Yeah, no.
So you're kind of working for free.
Basically.
Okay, so I guess and who does that? You do the ads and you call the buyers.
Yeah.
You call the leads. Interesting. Like, why did you want to do this business model? Like, walk me through that. Lead gen for solar, where you run the ads and you call the leads. Like, walk me through that.
Yeah, so I did it because it cost me nothing to start, and then it's just the easiest. I figured out fulfillment on my own, and so like that was I felt like that was a huge value add to the market because everyone's getting scammed, and you see it all the time, these like solar Facebook groups.
Scammed how?
Like they'll pay someone else to do the exact same thing, and then like they'll get scammed. They don't meet KPIs, or they actually lose money from actually investing.
When you say pay to do the same thing, run their ads and call the leads?
Well, I guess like run their ads, but like the same service of like, hey, solar guy, I'll run your stuff, you pay me. And then they'll run the stuff and then not see an ROI. And then they'll call it like they got scammed. And then there'll be like agencies that guarantee this or guarantee that, and then they don't fulfill on that. And so like there's a bunch of that in the solar industry, and there's not really much trust. And so,
but do you have any? I guess like, did you have any prior experience, or like what made you want to go into that?
No, I had no experience in this.
Okay.
I literally just saw someone doing it and I just did it.
That's very interesting. Okay, so and how long have you been doing this?
Probably close to a year now.
Okay, so you've been doing it for a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last December.
So, in your opinion, like what's the bottleneck?
Clients, so that like inbound leads, like people would call to jump on a demo to where I would do the sales thing. For some, I don't know what it is with the Facebook ads, but it's never consistent. It's never has been consistent. So I'll run the ads. I'll probably get like Monday or Tuesday booked out. And then once I go through those 2 days, the ads just like plummet. And so it's like, do I have to like rotate ads, or I always, every time that happens, I just create new ones. Mm-hmm. But is that really the plan to go? I don't know.
Okay. So let's start at the top with the offer. So let's start with that. Like, are you sold on that offer? Like, do you really want to do that? Do you want to do lead gen for solar? Like, are you open to doing something else? Like,
yeah, I mean, I am open to doing something else, but that's what we've been doing so far.
Okay, probably like, so the biggest issue typically with an agency, which is what you have as an ad agency, is that it's got to be one of two things. Okay, so either it's a high level client. Okay, so when I say high level, that might be someone like me. Mm-hmm. Okay, so like if you ran my ads, the reason my ads will work is because I know how to call, I know how to message, I know how to do emails. Like we would work the leads, right? Because running ads is not enough. You probably know that. Like,
oh yeah,
that's what a lot of people think, right? They're like, ads. It's like, no, it's like you got to work the leads. Typically, you either need a high level client so that they're easy to fulfill on because you just run the ads and they'll handle it. Mm-hmm. That's easy. Or you have to help them with the processes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I mean by that is if you're running ads for a lower level person, the reason you stopped doing this is because exactly what you said is they couldn't convert the leads into sales. And then you're like, I'm doing all this work for nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you have to do that. So the thing I'm not a huge fan of with agencies, I mean, it's not that you can't do it. I just want you to think through, like, you have nothing to lose because you're not really making anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like if you moved, it would be a big, like, oh my God, like, you're not really making any money right now. But the issue is either if you can't get these clients yet, right? Because maybe they look at you and you're like, oh, he's a young kid, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I don't know. Like, I don't know how your calls are going. We can go through that. Then you have to go with these clients. But then what that means is you have to really make sure that their processes and systems are sustainable. I don't really like the fact that you're calling the leads because that's a lot of extra work.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not charging hardly anything. Like $2,500 a month is like, just to run ads, that's pretty cheap.
I mean, I'm open to what's the next direction? Like where should I go?
Okay, well, like let's walk through some stuff and then let's see kind of what you're thinking.
Sure.
Because like end of the day, it's your decision. The good news is you're 18, so it's like you literally have nothing to lose. You can for the next 7 years and it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But typically done with you will be better. Okay. So like I'll give you a couple examples of what I did. Okay. So done with you means literally what it means. It means like I will show you, I'm not doing it for you. It's done with you, right? I help, but they do it. Okay. So my first company was fitness. So I was an online fitness coach. And typically what you want to do is you're going to choose wealth. Excuse me. Okay. Health or relationships. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The reason you usually want to pick something in here is because this is what everyone wants in life. So you're basically in the wealth sector. That's fine. As long as it helps them increase their money or saves money, they'll buy it. So for me, I did fitness. So I started off in the health industry. What I did is a $3,200 program for 4 months. Okay. My next business was for trainers because I did so well. Trainers started asking me for help. I did I think it was 3 months, 10K. Okay. And then now we have elite CEOs. Sorry, my handwriting's not good. 4 months, 16. Okay. So those are easier to fulfill because when they came in, I'm like, all right, here's your nutrition, here's your training, etc. You're done. Like you do it or don't. Same thing here, same thing here. So in my opinion, based on what you're telling me, like, I'm not saying you can't do this, but like, I just like agencies are just hard, bro, because people come in, they don't do it, they do it, And kind of based on what you're telling me right now, there's also to consider like you're 18, you probably have low sales skills, you have low marketing skills, maybe overall, like there's a lot of stuff you're still learning. So the benefit of done with you, the only benefit is it's easier to scale typically because you don't have to do as much work. Because once the client comes in, like here's how we fulfill. Like let's say you're my client, Facebook group, portal, you have a one-to-one coach, and then you're going through the curriculum and we're helping you and we're coaching you, but you have to do it. That's just a lot easier than when you're like, if I was running your ads and running your business for you, it's a lot more. Does that make sense? So
can I ask a question?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, do I think, is it more harder because it's less scalable because they aren't as committed? You're like running the business for them, so it becomes easy for them. Like it's just because like a lot of the people who are going to hire you, they don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? So like they're hiring. Okay, so think of it this way: most people who hire you to run their ads, why do they hire you to run the ads? Because they don't know how to do it.
They don't know how to do it. So if they don't know how to run ads, what else do they probably not know how to do?
Everything after running the ads, probably.
So when you run the ads, they're like, "Oh, the ads don't work. This and that." It's like, no, you're a dip. And then you have to end up doing everything for them. That's the issue typically with like done for you is that the people who are paying you to do it, if it's a high level clients just don't want to do it anymore. They're like, yo, take it off my plate. But the clients you're getting, based on what I'm listening to, they're not skilled enough. And so that's the issue. So like if you paid me to coach you, guess what? It doesn't matter how skilled you are because if it's done with you, it's like, I'll show you and you do the best you can do. And then I'm like, it's not on me to get you results. You got to get the results, right? I put it back on you. So in my opinion, and you've been doing this a year and you haven't had a lot of success, my professional opinion, again, it's your life. And like, I'm not saying this can't work. So I don't want you to take it the wrong way. It's like, if you want me to focus on this today, I'll focus on that. But in my opinion, it's easier. It's not even an opinion. It's just fact. It's easier to scale done with you. Mm-hmm. So from here, what I want to do is like, if you want to keep focusing on the lead gen, we'll just talk about the rest of the day and I won't talk about this anymore. If you want to sell something else, then what I say we focus on is like, let's find out what your offer is. So we figure out, what are you good at? What do you think you could sell? And I'll help you price it out. We'll come up with the pillars, everything. But from what I can take from it is, you're a young kid. You're probably not very skilled at a lot of stuff yet. So you're not really you're obviously better off than like most people your age, but there's probably a lot of stuff you're not good at yet. You're probably not very good at sales calls. You're probably not very good at marketing. Mm-hmm. You don't have a lot of experience, obviously, because you're young. So you have some things stacked against you that like won't get taken care of except with time or coaching, right? Mm-hmm. So that's going to take you time. So I'm just looking at, okay, if your goal is, I want to scale as fast as possible, and the whole year you've basically only made like 30K, it's like, unless you get some coaching or something, you're probably like, I don't see that changing anytime soon, because you probably have a skill issue, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's your call, but like, if I was in your shoes, knowing what I know now, I'm trying to build a business that's easier to scale. So it'd be easier to do done with you, and then I can help you price it out. But it's your life. So it's like, if you hear this and you're like, I don't want to do that, then I don't want to talk about it anymore. If you do, then let's figure out what this new thing is.
No, yeah, I think I'm on board, because I'm just trying to think like how would I do it. So I guess that like,
yeah. So let's go through that. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So now that we've got this out of the way, let's focus on that, because I don't think that's the business for you. Like, I just think you're 18, you're young. We also need to go through your sales script, because I can almost guarantee, like, based on what you just said, you're not closing very well, and you probably don't know what to say. Mm-hmm. If you have an opportunity, something I might recommend you do is put the business on hold for a few months and go do door-to-door sales for 3 months. And if you do door-to-door sales for 3 months, it's miserable, but I promise you, mentally and just like sales skills wise, you'll be better than 99% of people. Like, door-to-door sales is why I'm so good at what I do. Mm-hmm. Okay. Don't have to do that. I'm just saying it could definitely help you. And because you're 18, you can do it because you don't have any responsibility. So like, this is the time to like just eat and learn as much as you can. So the more you can learn right now, the better. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So based on your skills, let's work through this. So we got wealth. Okay. Mm-hmm. We got health. We got relationships. Okay. So the first thing is like, what are your skills? Like, what are the things you like or the things you're good at? Like, let's just make a list to start to kind of see like, what do you think you could offer to people? For me, it was fitness, because I grew up and I was a football player and I worked out and all that stuff. So that was like obvious for me. What are the things you like or you're good at? And if you're not good at stuff, like, we'll figure that out after, but let's start with that.
I think I'm good at, like, when it comes to fulfillment, when it came to running the ads, like we were seeing really good success.
So you know how to run ads, right?
Yeah, know how to run ads. I think even the back ends, like CRMs, automations, Zapier, like all that type of stuff.
Okay.
I would have to say coaching, like leadership, I guess. I think a lot of, like, just enough validation from other people that they say, when I teach them the ads or I teach them the CRMs and stuff, like, they're just like, I got it, you know, obviously humbly as possible. And then I would have to say I'm good at listening on the sales. I think a lot of people that I'm around aren't. But in terms of what I can offer people, like, I think even though we weren't scaling the business, when it came to fulfillment, we were seeing really, really good success. And so I think that success I can teach to other people as well, when it came to running ads and getting leads in and then converting those leads into appointments and then them actually getting ready for the closer to come in and close it. Mm-hmm. That whole system right there was pretty much really successful for all of us.
So like, a question for you is like, if that system was working, like, were clients like staying on? It doesn't really sound like they were.
Yeah, so they would stay on for like 3 to 4 months. But the thing was that the sales cycle for solars, not only that, but like also there was no recurring. So I wasn't making money unless they made money. And they'll close a deal today and then they'll see the payout like 3 months down the road or like 9 months.
That's another reason I don't like it, man.
Yeah, like that's
unless they're a big company, it doesn't work. Like, if it's a big company, but if it's a small company, it doesn't work.
Yeah, so they have to have all the funds in the front end to then start racking stuff up in the back, and it just wasn't profitable. So
okay, so what CRMs do you work with? This is Facebook ads, right?
Yeah, Facebook.
Okay, and what CRMs do you work with?
Go High Level.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we have a white label version of that. Okay. And have you done any coaching or courses? Have you hired anyone before or no?
I've trained like just a bunch of people when it comes to the ads and all that type
but
of
have
stuff.
have you ever hired anyone to like train you or learn? Like have you ever been in a
Yeah.
mastermind or like what have you been, what have you
Yeah,
done?
so there's it's actually my shirt.
That's Joel Kaplan's.
Yeah. So I was in his
Okay.
program. I've done one-on-ones.
That's where that came from. So that's why you're doing the agency.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched a video. This guy was like, "Hey, I'm at 70K, but the thing I wish I'd done sooner was invest in myself." And then I just paid Joel like and got in. Got in, was grinding that out, and that's where I learned most of my fulfillment, all that type of stuff from. And then right now, it feels kind of useless, the program, but since that, I've just been innovating upon it and just making my own.
So based on what you're saying, we got kind of two options, right? You can either do like, and it looks like we're going to be in here, right? We're not going to do this, probably. We're not going to do this.
Yeah.
So we're going to be in the wealth sector. So you got pretty much two options. It's one of the two. In my opinion, either you run ads for a better local business, like maybe gyms or something where you can get returns quicker, right? And you feel it's a good niche, okay? Maybe like HVAC companies, like stuff like that.
Like roofers or something?
Yeah, so like, because I know Joel teaches that, and I know in his he's got a higher level program too you could jump in, or it's either that. So like, it's either like, I would say you do an ad agency. Like, I'm not against the ad agency 100%. It's just like long term, I don't think it's a play. Like eventually you peak and you can only do so much. There's a lot of fulfillment, but like for your age, you would learn a lot, and I think that'd be benefit for you. But I'm trying to get you like past this. So to me, it's like we got to find you a good business model. So I would either say you do ads for local businesses and you figure out which local business you could get the best results for, and you just stick with that. So for example, like, Gym Launch did gyms, and they just focused on gyms, right? And they really cranked that. Solar is like, I don't know enough about solar to give you like super good advice on it, but it just sounds on like what you're telling me so far. It's like long sales cycles. They don't seem that skilled. Like, you want to get something that's like more of a slam dunk, right? So go ahead.
Yeah. So do you think it's more, because the reason that I say that is because I think a lot from our outreach efforts and stuff like that, the majority that comes in, they're not as motivated. They don't have like funds behind them. They're not really
right. They're just, I know, they're just exactly. They're just, they're beginners, and they're like, they think you running ads will make them rich.
Yeah, like it feels like the 1% is like too far, or like they're just so small. You know what I mean?
Right. So I think you either do this or you do some type of coaching, right? And like for me, so my trajectory, like I did the fitness business, right? And so I helped people get in shape. By doing that, I learned how to run the business very well. So then I had a bunch of trainers start asking me for help. And so I started showing trainers what I did. That did really well. And then I made elite CEOs, which is what I do now, right? So it's business consulting. So if you were to hire me, you'd come in and it's like, all right, we're going to help you with your offer. We're going to help you with your marketing, your everything. Yeah. A to Z. So to me, it's either you do ads for local businesses, or you would do you could do coaching. Like by coaching, it means like you help them grow their business, but it's done with you. Okay.
Do you think that the ads thing, I'll probably do for like roofing or maybe HVAC, kind of the same process, but more of a done with you, right? And then I think once that business starts to scale, I kind of want to go more into the coaching for agency owners to build what I've already
built. When you have proof, yeah.
Okay,
so if you're down to do the local businesses, I'm cool with that, but I just want you to I would pick a business that like has more money to pay you. Because like I don't know all the local businesses you can do, but for example, like if you went to a gym and you're like, hey, it's $2,500 a month and you're gonna make 10K, they'll pay that every month. And it's a quicker turnaround. So I would look for, if you're going to do this, we need to find something that like 30-day turnaround for money. It's a turnaround time. Okay. So 30-day turnaround time, and is like easy to get results for. Cause like the solar business, based on what you're telling me, it's like, that doesn't sound like it would be easy unless they're a big solar company. And my guess is the biggest solar companies, they don't need you. Right. So you're just getting scrubs. So if you're in agency lab, you're in that group, I would really figure out, hey guys, what are the best, and maybe check out Joel's stuff. Joel's on YouTube. I know him, and he does all the agency. So I would really look at the stuff, and you need to figure out, what type of local business do I want to do? I don't care what you do. It just needs to have, you can get them results within 30 days. Like, so if they pay you 25, you can get a return on that cash quickly. So the things I would look for is 30-day turnaround time. And then like they sell stuff for a high price, right? Because the higher they sell their stuff, like let's say they have a 5K deal package. Well, if they get 2 deals, they'll keep paying you every single month for ads, right? So you want to make sure that they also charge a lot. That's why like my agency, we work with a lot of like high ticket businesses, because if they charge 10 grand and we're charging them 38 and they make 5 sales, they'll keep paying us. You understand? 30-day turnaround time for results, and then they sell something for a high price. Now solar hits the high price, but they don't hit this. See what I'm saying? So you need 2 checks. All right. Now, and I'm down to try to help you figure that out today if you want, but I would need more context from you, because it's just, I just don't know like all the different types of local businesses there could be. I know there's like HVAC, roofing, solar, you know, and like, I'm not like against solar. I just, based on what you're telling me, it's like, that just doesn't seem like the best plan of action if their cycles are that long. Right.
Yeah,
that's the concern I have, is like, I want you to have something where it's quick. So like for me, if I run ads, I can get a sell on an ad in 48 hours and I get the payment processed. With what you're saying, that's why I don't like it. I could be wrong, but that's what it seems like to me. So I'm down to work on this with you. If you're like, hey, I don't know and I want to spend time thinking about it, this is what I would look for.
It'd probably be roofing, because I have friends that are scaling that up.
Okay, so let's say you're doing roofing then. Okay, so let's just say for roofing. So what you need to do then, if you want to scale this, I'm going to get this chair. Apologize, my back is killing me. Okay, so if you're going to do roofing, then the next thing you have to do is go, okay, you're going to do the done for you ads, but you can't really do everything else for them. So really what you need to be doing is you do done for you ads, and then you're going to be coaching on the process. Okay, so realistically, good agencies, the thing that you have to do is you're not just running their ads, but you're coaching them on the process. But that means you have to know what the process looks like. So what I mean by that is like, let's say, I'm assuming you run your ads like this. Okay. Like that. So it's like ad, opt-in, VSL, thank you. Right? Okay. So what that means is when you get a new client, tell me if this gets confusing. I know my writing sucks. You need to have a go-to funnel. You're going to have the same funnel for everyone. So when they sign up, you're like, I'm going to have a custom built funnel for you. You're going to have the same funnel. You just change out the few variables, right? The business name, etc. Because again, you want to control as much as possible. You don't want them doing it. Okay. Then what you need to make sure happens here is they have emails and texts going out on Go High Level, right? So then we got emails and text set up. So you got the back end. Okay. So again, if you're doing, let's say you do roofing, the good news is you can do the same thing every time, right? And then you have emails and texts that are set up on the back end, because again, most companies don't do this, okay? The third thing you're gonna need is you're gonna have a calling script and calls, okay? So again, it's not just enough to get hired and then be like, oh, hey, I'm gonna set up your funnels and your emails and texts, and like, good luck. Because again, if they're a customer, what are they gonna do? They're gonna blame you for the lack of results. So you need to have calling scripts and calls that they can listen to and they can follow to close the deal. So like if you haven't done that, then what I would recommend you do for the first client you get, you're like, yo, I'll call all your leads and all that stuff. You record the process and you get it systematized where it's working consistently, and then you can teach your new clients how that should sound. Does that make sense? Because again, I don't want you doing it for them long term. The calling and stuff, I don't think you should do that. Some of your buddies who are doing roofing, for example, if they're doing that and they have success, okay, like maybe you could do it, but I don't feel like you should be running their ads and basically being their sales team. Like I think they need to do that, okay? Or you need to charge more money. So you have the calling scripts and the calls. Then you would want to have a VSL structure, okay? So you'd be like, all right, look, I need you to shoot your VSL like XYZ ABC, okay? And then after the VSL, you have a thank you page structure. Okay, so, and all this stuff is templated. So when they sign up, it's like they click a button, they get their whole funnel. You help them set up the email automations, or you give them templates, right? And then you give them the calling script and the calls, okay? If you don't do that, the clients that suck are not gonna get results. And then the whole point of you doing this is that you're basically running their ads and then you're coaching them. Does that make sense? Do you have questions on that?
Nope.
Okay, so it should be simplistic. It's like you run ads for roofers. Okay. You give them all this ad, opt-in, VSL, thank you page. Make sure you set that up on the back end. And then you're not doing it for them, but you're coaching them. So part of what you need to do is like, as you're running their ads, you see the data, right? So if they're getting a lot of leads and they're not getting book appointments, what do you think the problem is? They're not calling, or they're not doing a good job. So you'd be like, hey, like what's going on? and you'd like be coaching them on that. I don't think you should do it for them, but you need to coach them on that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, again, if you talk to some of your buddies and they're doing that and it's working, okay. But I just think as you scale, like remember, when you have one client, it's fine. When you have 10 clients, it's tough because then you're gonna have to have a big team, right? So my opinion of what you should do is do the ads, do the coaching. The first client you get, you do the calling for them so you can build out the process for the coaching. Because how do you coach? You record your process, refine it, and then you put it in like a portal. Okay. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I do. So the next thing we need to do then, if you have questions, you can stop me. So I'm going to erase all this. So the next thing is then we got to figure out your price point. So typically if a roofing company is paying an agency, what do you typically see as the price points that they're paying? Do you have friends who are doing that?
Yeah. So it'd be around like 2,200 or something like that a month.
So say it's 2,200 a month. All right. So, and then what I would do is like, I do 2,200 a month, 3-month commitment if you can. You can do month to month if you want to start, but I think ultimately you want to get to 3 months because it's then you know that you're going to have money coming in versus like every month you're starting over.
Yeah.
Okay. There's 2 ways you can get clients, right? And the higher you can raise that, the better. So you have 2 ways to get clients. You have organic, you have paid. Okay. Now what you're doing is you're only doing paid. I actually think you doing organic would be good to start because it would teach you a lot of skills that maybe you don't have right now because it's harder. So right, organic's harder, but you can learn a lot of skills. So just so you know what I did in fitness is what I would do, and I'll walk you through this process, is first I'd hit all my comments and followers. Okay. If you have any questions or something makes sense or it seems stupid, just jump in. Okay, like, because this is for you. So I'm just trying to walk you through everything as simply as I can. Okay, so what I did first, and I'm gonna give a fitness example, but this is for roofing. Okay, so what I did is first on my social media, I had all my comments and followers, and I was like, hey, I reached out. We'll walk through the process of what to say. Okay, now you probably don't have a lot of roofers following you, so that's probably not gonna work, right? So then the second thing I would do is once I got all the juice off my page, because I was like posting, fitness pictures, etc. Those people were following me for fitness, is I started doing hashtags, okay? IG hashtags, right? So what I'm saying is like, I would go to hashtags to find people who are out of shape and DM them to get them on calls, all right? Now for me, I would go to hashtags like fit mom, fit dad, fitness, fit spo, anything fitness related. And then what I would do is I'd take my phone, pretend this is my phone, and I'd scroll as fast as I could until I'd see an overweight person. I'd stop, I'd click on their profile, I'd go and see if they looked like a person to message. Now, if they were overweight and they didn't look like they were like a Beachbody coach or like, I'm a fitness coach, right? I wouldn't message them. But if they were like an overweight mom with 2 kids and looked like a normal job, I'd reach out, okay? So for example, for you, something you could do to start is, yes, you can go to Facebook groups, of course, right? That's pretty beat up, right? It's the same process. Or you could go to hashtags and type in like roofing companies, like whatever, and you could reach out that way, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. This is harder, but this is also a skill that I think you should learn because just my impression of you is you have a lot of drive, but you're young and that's fine, but it's like you gotta start from somewhere. So I think you probably have not built up a lot of skills yet. It's great that you've learned ads and you get CRMs, but I think you need to learn sales a lot better. And the only way you're going to learn sales better is if you go do door to door for a few months, which I would recommend you do that. If you're cool to pause your business for 3 months, I would do that, go do door to door and then come back. And I promise you, you'll be 10 times better at sales. If you don't want to do that, then this is what I want you to do next. So let's say you reach out to those roofing companies, right? So you hit the hashtag, you start reaching out. Now, something to keep in mind is if you send 100 DMs, 30 respond. Typically, this is an average, okay? 5 book a call if you're good. Now remember, the reason you want to know these numbers is if you don't get 30 responses, what does that mean? You're saying weird. If you don't get 5 book calls, what does that mean? You're not saying the right thing to book the call. Then you usually will get 1 to 2 closes. If that's not the numbers you get, then you're probably saying some weird.
Yeah.
That's as simple as I can put it, okay? Now, typically to send 100 DMs, again, because I want you to conceptualize this, because if you can understand like what I'm putting down, it'll be easier for you. So let's say it takes you 5 hours to send 100 DMs, right? 20 per hour. That's typically what you can do without getting marked as spam. Change the message every time. Don't say the same thing. So don't just copy and paste it, but you would say the same message. I'll walk you through what to say in a second, but just stick with me on this, okay? So if it takes you 5 hours, let's do the math. 30 respond. 5 book a call, so that's 10 more hours, right? Because basically you have to take 5-hour phone calls, right? So that's 10 hours. And then you close 1 to 2, Well, if let's say you close 2 calls, you just made $4,400 for 10 hours of work. So you're making $440 an hour. That's not bad, bro. For your age, that's good ass money. $440 an hour. That's why I would start there, because not only do you learn the skills, but then what do you do with this money? Put it into ads. And then you can grow the business. What you did is you started day one with ads with, in my opinion, I don't know, because I obviously, but you seem like you have low skill, which means that's probably why you haven't grown a lot, because you seem very smart and technical and stuff like that. But if you can't sell people, it doesn't matter how good you are. The reason I became rich is not because I'm the best coach, it's because I'm the best sales guy. Do you understand? Like, you want to be good at both, but you can get very rich without being a good coach. You just have to be good at sales. All right. So that's what I would do here. All right. Now, in terms of what to say, what I would do, and again, I'll give you a fitness example. This would be for roofing, and you might have to change it a little bit, but I'll walk you through like a fitness example and then see if we can like move it to what you did. So what I would do first is I'd reach out with a compliment. Okay. So I'd say, hey, hope this isn't weird to say, but I'm from a family of 7 kids, and I just had to tell you your kids are so cute. LOL. Right? And you want to do it like a text. You're not doing like big ass paragraphs. It's like, you know, when you're texting a girl, you're like, what are you doing tonight? Send. Let me know. I want to do something. Send. How about 8 o'clock dinner? Send. Like something like that. You're not like sending a paragraph. So I say a compliment, and they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's totally fine. Thanks so much. And I go, yeah, for sure. What do you do for work? Okay. And we'll move this to the solar, because this will be a little different. Okay. All right. But I want you to see this first. And they're like, oh, well, I do this or that. I'm like, oh, cool. That's awesome. For sure. I was like, does it keep you busy? Because I just want you to see this process all the way through. Because once you see it all the way through, you'll be like, this leads to this, to that. Okay. Does it keep you busy? And they're like, oh, yeah. Everyone says they're busy. Why? Because no one wants to say they're a lazy piece of shit. So they will say they're busy. And then you go, here was my transition. So watch. So I go, does that make it hard to work out? Right? Now, I don't say it like that. Does that make it hard to work out? Okay. So I wouldn't say it just like that, but I would say, does it keep you busy? Like, yeah, in case you're super busy. I'm like, man, I totally understand that. Does that make it hard to work out? And so now I'm in the pitch, but they don't even know it, because it sounds conversational. Like if I was sitting with you at a bar, I was like, dude, how's work going? You're like, oh, it's so busy. I was like, yeah, dude, like totally get that. Does that make it hard to work out? Or like, do you have a gym routine? You'd be like, you might be kind of like, yeah, but you wouldn't think it's weird. You just like, you might be like, that was kind of a weird question, but it wouldn't be, you wouldn't think like I'm selling you something, which is the point. You don't want to come off salesy. It wants to be conversational. So then they usually are like, yeah, it does. And I'm like, okay, cool. So what's your goal? If you don't mind me asking. And they're like, oh, I want to lose 30 pounds. I'm like, okay, what are you struggling with? And then they're like, that. I'm like, what have you tried before? Okay. They're like this. I'm like, have you ever had a coach? And they're like, oh, you know, I've never really had a coach. I'm like, okay. And then number 9 is where I do my pitch. And I say, I'll offer a call. So watch. I'll do like this. I go, well, look, I don't know if you care or not, but I do this fitness stuff all day long. I'm down to give you some pointers if you'd like them, but I just always like to ask. And they're usually like, yeah, that'd be great. I'm like, cool. So instead of typing out 10,000 more messages, LOL, I can call you for 10 minutes really quickly. Send. Here's my number. What's yours? Send. And almost always they'll give you the number. Then you get on the phone. You do a 10-minute call. Okay. So once I'm on the call, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just building rapport. So if I called you, I'd be like, yeah, dude, what's up? Yeah, it's so cool. Like, what's your goal for the business? What are you struggling with? What have you tried? Da, da, da. I don't care what you say. I'm just trying to get you to like me. Okay. At the end of that, I'm going to say, hey, that sounds great. Now, there's going to be more specific things I need. In fitness, I would say this. I'm like, there's more specific things I need, like your age, weight, height, food preferences. So I'm going to send you over an email. Once you answer that, if everything looks good, we'll get back on another call. Sound good? And they're like, yeah, sounds great. So then I'd send them an email, which was like my application. And in the email, I can show you an example if you'd like. I would say like, you know, age, weight, height, foods you like, etc. But there are only 2 questions I cared about. One question was, people who work with me only have to make a one-time investment. I'm going to show you exactly how to eat and train the way you want for the rest of your life without sabotaging results. With that being said, are you willing to invest mentally, physically, and financially in yourself? And they would usually say yes. If they didn't say yes, what would I do? I'd text them and be like, hey, so I saw your application. You said you weren't really looking to invest. What does that mean? And I qualify them. If they did say yes, I'm like, hey, your application looks great. Let's book a sales call. Book the sales call. I close them. And I was doing $50,000 a month just doing that. So let's take your example. Let's say you were reaching out to roofing companies. Let's go through this process. So it's like, hey man, hope this isn't weird to say. Saw you have an amazing roofing company. How do you like it? Whatever. Or you're like, saw you had an amazing roofing company. Just wanted to connect. I've always been interested in. Like, I don't know. Like, you wouldn't say that. You make some type of compliment and then try to open it up for a conversation. She's like, hey man, hope this isn't weird to reach out, but I saw you have an amazing roofing company. Like, how do you like that? That's probably what I'd say. And he's like, oh, thanks, dude, for sure. Yeah, I like it a lot. And so from there, you would say, yeah, no worries. Like, what's like the goal this year? What are you working towards? He's like, oh, I want to make X amount. You're like, oh, that's awesome, dude. And then like, what you could do is you just cut this stuff out, right? So you just cut this stuff out. She's like, yeah, what's your goal this year? Okay. And then you just move down here. He's like, oh, I want to make like 10,000. Like, yeah, for sure, dude. Like, how's that going? Like, you struggling with anything? You keep it very like, don't be like a robot. Like, yeah, what's your goal? What are you struggling with? Just keep it very conversational. Like, yeah, like that's super cool. Like, you struggling with anything? He's like, like I'd say like maybe your leads and stuff. You're like, okay, cool. I totally get that. Like, cause I know this industry. Like, what have you tried before? And he's like, oh, this and that didn't really work. And it's like, okay, and like, you ever had a coach? And he's like, no. It's like, well, dude, like, I don't know if you care or not, but I do this roofing stuff all day long. I could give you some pointers if you're open to it. He's like, yeah, do the same thing. Like, cool, here's my number. Look, I said typing out 10,000 more messages, LOL. Let me know if you're down to get on a call for 10 minutes. Here's my number, what's yours? Boom, get on the call, send the app, you get on a sales call, you close. That's like pure cold organic. Like, that's how I did it. Pure cold. Then what I did is I was doing $50,000 a month. Now, you don't have to get up to $50,000 a month, but think about it. If I'm doing $50,000 a month doing this, what do you think happens when I run ads? I kick ass because ads are easier when you know the process. But what I think is you need more work doing sales calls and messaging to build the skill. But if you're paying, you can't do that when you're paying money for ads because you got to make X amount back. That's my opinion. I think you'll learn more doing this, even though it's harder than running paid ads. Now, let's say you get this done. Then what you're going to do is you're going to run paid ads. Now, here's what I've done. Now, I already know the way you run ads right now. Do you have questions?
No.
Okay. Just make sure you're not confused. You're like, I'm losing you.
No, I'm here.
Okay. So typically the way people run ads is like this. Okay. So you have an opt-in, you do emails, you do texts, you do a VSL, and you do a thank you page. Okay. Now, the way I built a $70 million company is I did it a little different. All right. I'm not saying this can't work. This could work. You've already gotten some results that way, but you're not getting like crazy good results, right? And I'm assuming when they come in, do you call them and text them? Are you doing that stuff? Okay. Yeah. So that works and you can do that. But something else I would try, again, I don't have a lot of data and I also just haven't, like, if I listen to your calls and stuff, I could tell you more, but I'm just making some assumptions. Let me know if you think they're incorrect. Like I have to make some assumptions to try to help you. Because if we don't have time to like listen to sales calls and do everything, but I'm going to try to help you as much as I can. So I always had an issue with this type of funnel. And the issue I had was that I don't know, man, we just never got as good results. Like people wouldn't book calls automatically. And if they did book calls, they were like really unqualified and we would call people, but they don't pick up. Like, especially in the coaching industry, the one I'm in, like guys like you, they don't pick up because like, they're like, oh, this company's calling me and bother. Like they're just more savvy, right? Versus maybe a newbie who doesn't get called very much. So they pick up all the time. So what we did, just so you know, is we run our stuff like this. So we run our ad to Messenger. Okay. And then we usually will grab their info in Messenger, okay? And then we'll go to a VSL, and then we'll go to a thank you page, okay? Now, the difference with that is, like, notice what I did here is I took the same process that made me successful here, $50,000 a month, and I did the same process with ads. Remember, ads is to amplify what's working. Now, I'm not saying you have to run it this way. I have a portfolio company that does ads this way and it works just fine. This is easier. So if you can pull it off this way, stick with that. But something that I want you to know is a lot of our clients, their ads don't work. And the reason their ads don't work is their marketing is not very good. They run the ads, their funnel sucks. There's a lot of stuff you can't control. But if you're good at messaging, most people don't do that, right? Because it's hard. Yeah. So remember, if you can scale unscalable things that are hard, guess what? That sets you apart. So the reason I've built a massive company is, I don't know if you know this, you might, we message every single lead. You know how much we spend on ads? $250,000 to $500,000 a month. You know how many leads that is? It's like 20,000 leads. So imagine if you had a team that was DMing 20,000 people a month. Well, most companies don't do that, right?
No,
so you're going to get more sales. So I'm trying to put ideas in your head.
Yeah.
If you can pull this off, this is easier. This is preferable. I've never been able to pull it off. I think part of it is the industry, and then part of it is who we're going after. Mm-hmm. But this has been my bread and butter for years. I've been doing this since like 2019, bro. Like crushing. Okay. But I think you need more practice learning how to sell in Messenger, like talking to people via text and DMs. And I think you need more practice on calls. And this is all free. Now, granted, that lady who's investing with you, if she doesn't give a fuck and she's just going to keep throwing you cash, then fine. But you're going to notice, like, if you can do this, which is harder, this will be way easier. And I think because you started here, you don't know how much harder it could get. Mm-hmm. And you might have a skewed reality of like how ads are supposed to work. Okay, anyways, do you have any questions on this?
No.
Okay, so this is how I built my company. Like literally how I built it. Okay. This is the framework I followed, everything. There's like no guesswork. The reason I was able to get good at that though, I think was door-to-door sales. So again, the reason I brought that up to you is like, if you're willing to take 3 months and go do door-to-door sales, I think that'd be a huge blessing for you. You're 18. If you don't want to do it, that's fine, but this will take you longer to learn. Just be okay with that. Like the people in my programs who do the best have sales backgrounds, period. Because if you can sell, you can scale. Okay.
So how do you feel about so currently I've just made some decisions. Like my business is pretty much on its downhill where it's slowing down because I have took closing positions for other agencies like last week. And so I mean, it's not door-to-door sales, but it is, they're just filling up my calendar and I take calls and they coach me and like, I'm looking to do that for a
while. Do that then. That's great.
Okay. I mean,
so this will be your lot. Like, dude, the thing is you're 18. So I just cannot emphasize this enough. Learn skills right now. Learn how to media buy, learn how to do sales calls, learn how to hire, learn how to train, learn how to DM people, learn how to do cold outbound, learn. So then when you really get older, like, dude, you can learn for the next 4 years and start a business at 22 and you would still be ahead of 99% of people, right? Like, you're 18, dude. Like, you're so young. Like, it's so cool because you have so much time. Like, I didn't start college 25. You're 7 years ahead of me. So imagine where you're going to be at 25. Mm-hmm. Bro, you're going to be light years ahead of where I was, right? So yeah, I would agree with that. If you can go do sales calls, pause your business for now, do that for a little bit, build the skill. Learn how to close, like learn frameworks. Like I think that'd be great for you. And the reason you're doing that is like the way you build yourself as more valuable in the market is you build a skill, and then you build the next skill, and then you build the next skill, and then the next one. So the reason I get paid a lot of money is because I can close sales calls, I can run ads, I can market, I can hire, I can train, I can delegate, I can start different offers, I can be a COO, I can be a CEO, like I can do it all. But I had to build it, right? It took me some time. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter which path you go down. I just want you to be, what I sense is you need to get better at sales. So if you think to get better at sales, go close for these companies, great. If you think you can do it doing your own thing, great. It doesn't matter. It's just like, what do you want to do? And what do you think is going to get you there faster, right? Mm-hmm. If you want guidance, that's a great way to get guidance for free because the only other way you're going to get sales trained is if you pay for it, right? Mm-hmm. So that's your call. You're 18, dude, so it's like, it doesn't really matter what you do. That's the cool part. I know that sounds weird, but it really doesn't matter. Because if you just put in the time and the work and the grunt work right now, it's going to work out the way it's supposed to, okay? So you either, in my opinion, do this, and then you run ads. I'd stop running ads for now. You just tell that girl, hey, I need to learn some skills, or you go do the sales thing, and then you come back to this when you're ready. I think you do need to learn sales. That to me is like, I bet if I listen to your calls, they're pretty bad, is my guess. Mm-hmm. Okay? Questions?
No.
Okay. So now what we need to do is let's actually go through your sales, okay? Now, do you have any sales framework you follow?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay, so that's a problem. All right, so let's go through that. Okay, I'm gonna go through a sales framework. Do you have any questions? Is there anything that's like off topic or you wanna ask me about? Because again, this is for you. I wanna feel like I'm taking you through what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, I think a quick question would be like, how do you feel about like in terms of like how to offer roofing, like what would be the no-brainer offer you would feel like? Would there be guarantees or would there be?
Yeah, let's go through that. That's great. I love it. That's what we're going to do right now. That's where I was going next. Yeah. Okay. So framework for sales calls. All right. You got intro and then you have pre-frame. I'm going to walk you through examples as I do this. If you have questions, please ask. Like, I don't want you, if you're...
Let me,
go ahead.
Maybe I should fill in. Okay, so
go ahead.
When
you
asked the question, I was like it's something official or something, like what kind of framework. But I guess when I do hop, so it's an intro call, and I basically just get an overview of their business, see where
it's
they're
set call, right? Like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
right?
And they're usually around maybe about 25, 30 minutes each. And so I'll hop on, I'll basically ask them, like, some questions in terms of their business, give me an overview.
Yeah.
Show me what's up. How can I help? And then they'll walk me through it, be like, okay, so you've been doing this for this and this and this and and you kind of just figure out where their pain is at, where's the gap that I need to fill, all this and that. And then, kind of get them a little bit excited for the call by like, hey, we can help you and like we can offer this, but I'm not going to talk to you about that right now. We'll move this on. Next call, the demo calls, the sales call comes up. And then that's basically where we kind of reframe what we were just talking about with the intro. And then we run in through like, okay, so I know you noticed it with this. And then I kind of ask some more questions, just get a little bit more deeper, just to get their mind in the right place.
Right.
And then I walk them through the presentation, make sure they have any questions and stuff. And that's usually when they're on board with everything. But once you get to the price, that's when the objections start coming. So you start to objection handle.
Okay.
And I think there's points in the agency where I would just let them go when they said stuff. So I think like that is one skill that needs to be improved. I think it has been.
I think honestly, another thing with ads is like you usually can just do a 1-call close with ads. Like organic, that's very normal to do it 2 calls. With ads, I don't think you need that, because to me it's like, well, like the whole point of an application is so you don't need to do 2 calls. Do you understand? When you're doing cold outreach, it's really hard to go from cold to a sales call. So you go cold to 15 and then a sales call. But with ads, I don't think you even need to do that.
Okay.
Some people do that, but I don't think it's necessary. You're just creating more work. Like why can't they just fill out an application? If it's not good, you text them and you verify or clarify. And then if it's bad, you cancel it. If it's good, you take it.
No, yeah, 100%.
Right?
100%. Yeah, I mean, the intro call can be put in the demo as well in the beginning, kind of learning about what they are.
Well, no, but like the whole point of an application is to get all that info so you don't have to do an intro call. Like the intro call to me is like if I'm calling the leads that opted in and they pick up, that would be your set call, like an intro call, because they picked up randomly. But I don't think you need to schedule an intro call to have a sales call.
No, we don't schedule them.
So this is when they pick up.
Yeah, once they come in, we should call instantly.
So that makes sense. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying you do ad and then opt in, VSL, they book a 15-minute call. That's okay. So you don't do that. Yeah, so if they book from the VSL, it's an hour call.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, great. So that's good. All right. So let's walk through the framework. So intro pre-frame is just like, hey, welcome to the call. The goal of the call is to figure out what your goal is, what you're struggling with, what you tried at the end of the call. If it's a fit, let's move forward. If you don't, let's not. Cool? Yeah, great. All right. Then you do questions and discovery. Now, questions and discovery is you're just trying to find out all the information you need. What's your goal? What are you struggling with? What have you tried? So like these are normal questions you ask. Goal, struggle, tried. Like what have you tried? Have you ever had a coach? Have you ever done ads? Do you have funnels? Do you have sales? Like whatever, right? Like you're getting context of the information so that you know what's right and wrong and what you need to pitch. Okay? All right. So we got that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the 3 pillars. Now the 3 pillars is what you were just talking about. So these are the 3 things that you need to do. Now, the way you do pillars is you need to do what they do versus what we do. Okay? So, if someone doesn't know a lot about something and I just say, I don't know, let's say I was trying to get you to buy makeup. And you've never worn makeup as far as I know. Maybe you have, I don't know. I'm just kidding. But what I would need to do to get you to buy makeup, what if I said, all right, so buy this makeup because it's the best and it's just the best because of this and this and this. And you're like, okay, yeah, it sounds good. I'm like, all right, it's 10 grand. The reason people struggle to buy when people do that is because they don't know what bad looks like. Do you understand? So like a guy who's had 10 girlfriends probably knows what a bad girlfriend looks like. If you've never had a girlfriend, you don't have any clue at all, right? So you really have no context for what good or bad is. So because you're unsure, it makes it hard for you to buy something because you're like, well, I don't know what else is out there and stuff like that. So you got to tell people, right? So when you do your pillars and your points, this will make sense to you. But I always am like, okay, here's what most people do. Here's what I do. Here's what most people do. Here's what I do. So you're painting the bad picture and then you're painting the good picture so they have clarity. Okay. So what we need to do for the pillars, and this is how you sell people. What are the top 3 things you do? So like if I was to hire you and I'm like, hey, why should I hire you? What are the top 3 things you bring to the table? What would they be?
In terms of what exactly?
The whole offer. Like why should I hire you?
Oh,
what do you do that's so special? Okay, so I'm on a sales call with you.
Okay.
And I'm like, why should I hire you? Like, what would your reasons be? Like, why should I hire you versus someone else? What makes you so much better than? Like, tell me the 3 things that makes you better than everyone else.
Most people will say this and do another, but we obviously do what we say we're going to do based on our results and stuff.
Okay, meaning what? So when you say we do what we say we're going to do, what does that mean?
Most agencies, they will tell you this, like, hey, I'll guarantee you 45 points in 10 days. I'll guarantee you, this 10x ROI, which is completely unrealistic, but I actually give you the realistic results in terms of like money in.
Okay. What else? Just same as they come to your head. What else?
Yeah. And then most agencies will be robotic and do generic stuff and, get you the generic results. But we tend to focus on more creative, more innovative efforts to then get you the creative and, exponential results.
Okay. What else?
Most agencies will stop after the lead comes in. We stop once that call is booked and you've told us how it went. So after you've already hopped on the call and you've pretty much closed it. That's
meaning what? Like, what does that mean? So like I don't get the difference. Like, explain that to me.
So most people will send you the lead and then they stop. You don't talk to them. They don't even care about the rest. We get the lead, we nurture it, we take care of it, we make sure that you're taking care of it as well. And then even after the fact you close, we want to make sure that it's all taken care of in terms of follow-up. I mean, most agencies will make you do the hard work and blame it on you, but our agency will take our blame for things that are our fault. Like, I mean, we're always continue trying to grow. And so if things go bad or things are our fault or, metrics aren't hitting where they want to be, we take everything that we have available to us, do whatever's possible to get you the best result at the end of the day.
Okay. So do you have like a guarantee? Like, is it a performance guarantee or like it's like you get your money back or anything like that?
Yeah. So we have like a 45 appointments booked in 2 months or money back.
Okay. So here's what you would do. So watch what I do. What they do, what we do. Listen. Okay. It's very important. This will help you in your sales. Okay, so you get all the questions, you're like, cool. So what I want to walk you through next is what I call the 3 pillars. 3 pillars are going to explain and show you why people work with me over every other agency. Okay. Now, pillar number 1 is what I call the 45 rule. Now, what most people do, what most agencies do, okay, remember, keep this in mind. Now, what most people do, this is literally what I'd say on a call. What they do is they'll sign you up and they have no guarantees at all. They basically will run your ads. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, you're right. So that's not really a win-win. What we do is we guarantee that you will get at least 45 book calls or you don't pay. The reason we do that is we know with our process, if you follow our structure, that you're going to get at least 45 calls. That's the minimum. Some people get a lot higher. But I want you to know if you work with us, that if you don't get results, you get your money back. Now, you got to be confident if you're going to say that, but that's how you say it. This is also a buzzword. Buzzwords help. You don't want to be like, money back guarantee. It's boring. 45 rule. What's the 45 rule, right? You want to create curiosity. Okay. What they do, what we do. You see how I just did that? So you painted the bad side and then you painted the good side. What you probably are doing is you're like, 45 rule. So we do have a 45-day guarantee. This, you're just listing like a grocery list. That does not sell people because they don't know what bad looks like. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just like you being here. I can't just tell you, like, you got to understand, like you got to do this because if you don't, this is what could happen. You got to see both sides. Okay. All right. Then I go, does that make sense? Yes. Okay. Pillar number 2 is what we call the 360 process. Now, what most agencies do is they're just going to bring you in, run your ads, and that's it. Okay. You got to come up with the creative. You got to shoot the videos. I don't know what else you do. My agency, they'll actually edit the videos and we'll do stuff. I don't think you should do that to start, but we'll like edit the videos. We'll write the scripts for them. We do a lot of okay. But what I'll say is like, what I would say for you is like, we do what's called the 360 process. So most agencies, they're only going to run your ads and that's it. Okay. You have to come up with the creative, you have to build the funnels, you have to do the follow-ups, etc. What I do in my program is not only do I help you set up your entire system if you don't have it, but I will help coach you all along the way on your calls, your sales scripts, whatever, to make sure that it works for you because the ads is only the first part. Follow-up is the most important part. Does that make sense? So what most people do is they don't do that. I'm going to do that for you and help you with it. Cool? Okay, so again, you see how you're separating yourself from other agencies? It's not enough to just like say some You got to really get people to understand why they should pay you. Then we go to the third one, okay? I call it David versus Goliath. So it's like the third pillar is what I call David versus Goliath. Now look, there's definitely some bigger agencies out there that you could go with, but you know what the problem with those agencies is? You're not working with the top guy. The top guy has got 5 sections of media buyers underneath him, and probably his name is Pablo, who lives all the way in, Mumbai. So you're not getting a good media buyer. With me, I'm a smaller company, but you're going to get a more personalized experience because I'm going to be running your ads. I'm going to take point. I'm the CEO here. So you're going to get the highest level of customer service. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So to recap, John, the 45 rule is we're going to get you 45 calls you don't pay. Most agencies won't do that. We will. 360 process. We're going to help you set up all your funnels, your systems, et cetera. And I'll coach you through it to make sure that when the leads come through, you're getting results. Because if you don't get results, you're not going to pay me. I want you to win. Most agencies won't do that. They don't care if you get results. And then the third thing is David versus Goliath. I am a smaller company, but I will give you the highest level of attention and service of anyone in the industry, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You see how that's a little more compelling versus probably what I'm assuming if I heard on your calls, you were just listing a bunch of out. And to be honest, a lot of the you were listing sounds like every other agency in the world.
Yeah.
Dude, everyone says that. That's a little more different. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. I think on the sales calls, I would expect them to see the difference by
literally everyone you talk to is a child just out of the womb, and you have to feed them a binky and put the food in their mouth. Otherwise, you will never be good at sales. Okay. So that's done. Okay. So now you've done the intro, questions, 3 pillars. Now from here, I'm like, cool. So do you have any questions? Whatever. Remember, their certainty has to be as high as possible before you drop the price. Certainty means that this program, I am certain this is the thing I need. It has to be as high as possible. So the reason you want to pause here and see if they have questions is do they understand this? Does this make them certain? Do they like this? Okay. Once you're done with that, you do a very brief program overview. I'm talking 2 minutes, bro. Okay. So how that would sound is cool. So next thing is just make sure you understand the deliverables. We'll bring you in. We're going to set up all your funnels, your backend systems, et cetera. That takes about a week. Once you're done, we're going to launch your ads. I'll help you with this and this. We'll press publish. They'll start coming in. I'll be coaching you along the way. You start making money, rinse and repeat, boom, bada bing. Make sense? Whatever. You're just making sure that they understand the deliverables. This is not a selling point. It's very quick. If you came in my coaching program, I'd be you get this. Make sense? I'd move on. That's it. No one gives a about what they're getting. They just want results. You flew out here because you think by flying out here, you're going to get a better result. You don't give a what I did though. What if I got on a Zoom call? Would you care? Probably not. You'd be I don't give a just help me, right? Same thing here. Okay. Now, once you do that, you close and then you handle objections. Okay. Questions about this process?
No.
The most important thing I need you to do is this. You got to do this and you got to ask good questions. If you ask bad questions, this will fuck you up. You have to understand their situation 100%. And then this will help you ask better questions, or this will help you sell them better.
What I notice is that when you, especially at my age, not having the skills necessary, when I started paid ads, you just throw yourself in the deep end and then you run into the issues and then make adaptations from there.
Yeah, and that's cool. And that's also why I said you're 18, dude. It's fine. You can for the next 4 years. Who cares? And you're supposed to. You're learning. You should. But that's why I could tell just by listening. I'm I can almost guarantee your sales calls are not very good, and that's gonna hurt your results. You got to learn how to do it. Okay. So now let's go through objections. Okay. Now, after this, we'll be done for most of this and I'll open the floor for you and whatever else you want to do. This is objections. There's only 4 objections. Okay. There's only 4. There's never more than 4. There's only 4. Okay. So here's what they are. We're going to go through all 4 objections for you. Okay. Okay. Price, spouse, or biz partner. Okay. Think about it. Okay. And, belief. Okay. All right. So let's do price. This is the most common. Okay. I'll walk you through this all the way through. Close all the deals if you just do this. Very easy. So you say, all right, the price of the program is $2,500. I say, oh man, I got to think about it. That's a lot, bro. You go, I totally get that. Totally understand. No problem. Okay. Let me ask you this. Okay, isolate. That says isolate the objection. Sorry, can't read it. Let me ask you this. Is there anything besides price that would stop you from moving forward today? No. Okay. Okay. Pause. Pause there. So do that again. You role play with me. Is there anything besides price that would stop you from moving forward today?
Not just the price.
Okay, that's the tie down. You need the tie down. That's the first tie down. Okay, so when you say that, it's just the price. That's one tie down. I'm going to get it again. Got it. So just so I'm clear, if we're able to figure out the price today, then you're able to move forward. Is that accurate? You want to move forward? We just got to figure out the price. Is that accurate? Am I misunderstanding?
No, that's right.
That's a double tie now. So you just said, if I figure the price out, you're fucking in, right? Perfect. Okay. So here's what we do now. We're going to ask for cash on hand. Okay. Cash on hand means literally how it sounds. What do you have available today? Not in a month, not in the stock market, not in your mom's bank account. What do you have? Okay. So let's role play this, right? Okay. Cool. So no problem. So I can help you. What's your cash on hand look like? Credit cards, savings, bank accounts, whatever. What do you have available that you can invest today? How much do you have?
1,000.
Great. Perfect. Okay. So let's play that scenario. Now, you're selling your program for $2,500 a month. Okay. They say they have 1,000. Now, you're the CEO, so you have to decide how low you're willing to go. Okay. Just because your program is listed at 25 and you want to sell it at 25, and that's what you always say it is, doesn't mean you can't sell it lower. You're the boss. If I go to Target and the CEO is there and I say, this is $10.99, can I get it for $5? He could be like, yeah, right? But people act like they can't. So you have to have a number in your head that you will not go below. So let me give you an example. So what you have to do is like, let me ask you this. What's the lowest you would want to get paid to do the work? Like, and be honest, like what's the lowest you're like, bro, it's not even worth it if it's below that. Like the lowest you're willing to go.
Probably around like 1,200.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so your number is 1,200. So if they cannot pay at least 1,200 a month, you're like, this, like not worth it, right? Okay, so that's important. So watch what I do. I ask for cash on hand. You say I have 1,000. So you just said you will not go below 1,200. So I go, cool. Thank you so much for being honest with me. I appreciate that. Now, typically the lowest I can go is 1,200. Are you able to do that? Okay. One of two things are going to happen. They're either going to say, yeah, like I can do that, or they're going to say no. If they say no, you're going to go to a delayed payment. We'll get into that in a second. Okay. And you wrap up because like, again, you can't pull money out of their ass. Like if they don't have the money, they don't have the money. But the reason you ask for cash on hand is what a lot of sales guys do, and probably what you do is go, well, I can't afford it. And you're like, oh, well, like, what if I did this? What if I did this? What if I did that? And you sound desperate. No one wants to buy from a desperate person. So you ask for cash on hand so you understand the situation. So like, let's say you got a call with me and I was like, hey dude, 16 grand. You're like, dude, I don't have that. I'm like, okay, cool. Like what's your cash on hand? Like I got like 2 grand. Well, now it's like, I know what I can do with you. I don't have to sit there and go in circles for an hour. Okay. Now, typically we'll get into that in a second if it's too low. Okay. Now let's say you said it was 15. Let's say you said 1,500. I have 1,500 cash. I'm like, cool. So look, I'll be honest. Typically I charge 2,500 a month, but if I'm able to work something out with you on the price, would you be able to move forward today? And they're usually like, yeah. I'm like, great. So just so I'm clear, if I can figure something out for you financially, you're able to move forward today, you still want to? Great, okay? And then what I do is I just go, awesome. So I can get you in at 1,500. All I ask is you work really hard. You don't tell any of my other clients, right? Because like I don't want them to find out you got a cheaper rate, and I can get you going moving forward today. Does that sound fair enough? And you close the deal. And if they say no, then you just go back and say, well, like, why? Like, what's the problem? Like, why can't you do it? Okay, that's literally how you handle that objection. Now, if they say the lower number, do you have a question? Go.
No.
Okay. Now, if they say the lower number, like what you had before, 1,000, then what I'll do is I'll do what's called a delayed payment. Okay. So you're like, well, I only have 1,000. You're like, cool. So you only have 1,000, but you really want to do it. Your number is 1,200 or you won't do it. Right. So then what I do is I go, well, look, I'll tell you what, you want to do it. You just don't have it all right now. Cool. Let's do this. What I do in this situation is as long as you want to do it, right? You want to do it, right? Okay. You're not, right? You really want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So as long as you want to do it, what I do in this situation is you can put down a refundable deposit. And then when you get the rest of the cash, we'll go ahead and get you started, but that will get you locked in at the price and we're good to go. So I'll let you in for $1,200, right? Because remember, they only have 1,000. This is the lowest you'll go. So I'm just like, I'll get you at $1,200, but you got to put down a deposit now. And then when you get the rest, we can go ahead and get you started. Sound fair?
Sounds fair.
And then they'll do it usually. If they don't, then it's like, okay, it's their, right? So the goal of this is that you really figure out what the problem is, right? Or you figure out if they're actually telling you the truth or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So again, price is $2,500. Oh, that's too much. I totally get it. Is there anything besides price that would stop you from moving forward today? No, it's just price. Okay, you're sure. So if we figure out price, you're in. Yes. What's your cash on hand? If they say less than the number you want, because you need to have that number in your head. For you, it's 1,200. I only have 1,000. Okay, so you only have 1,000. Thanks for telling me and being honest. So that's all you have. You have nothing else. Yeah, I literally only have 1,000. Okay. So you still want to get in, but you only have 1,000, right? Right. Okay, cool. So what I do in this situation is I take a refundable deposit. You put that down. We'll lock you in at that rate. When you get the rest of the money, we'll meet back up. We'll do it. Cool. Take the payment. You schedule the follow-up and when they're going to do it, boom. Okay. If they don't do this and they say like, if they say a higher number, right? So they say like, well, I've got 1,500. Well, then you just take the highest amount. So what this does is it makes sure that you close as many deals as possible, but you're not discounting it lower than you need to. Because if he's like, well, I have 1,500. Well, 1,500 is higher than 12. So you're like, cool. So you have 1,500. That's all you have. He's like, yeah, dude, like I want to do this, but I only have 1,500. Then I'm like, okay, cool. So what I'll do in this scenario is you still want to move forward today, right? So if I can figure, and you get the tie down, right? Tie down. So if I figure something out for you financially, tie down, you'll move forward today, right? Because it's got to be a fair trade. It's not fair for you to discount it and they have to wait. Because that's what people do. So, oh, let me think about it. It's like, no. If I'm going to give you the discount, you got to move forward today. That's a fair trade, right? Sales is all about being fair. It's just a trade. So what I would do is I say, cool. So if you can do the 1,500, I'll lower that price for you. I'll ask you work hard. You don't tell any of the clients. That sound fair? Boom. Take the payment. That's how you handle it. Okay. You don't go around in circles. You don't drop the price and guess and all that stuff. When you ask what their cash on hand is, you know the exact situation so you can get the best deal. Do you understand? Okay. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how. So save frameworks. So listen, the reason you have these frameworks is because when you're learning sales and people say no, your brain goes into fight or flight mode, right? You can't think. So if you have these frameworks on paper, it's easier for you to look at the paper. You're like, okay, and then like you'll get better over time. Like for me, it's natural, but it'll take time. Okay, I can't. Hey, the price is 2,500. I gotta talk to my business partner. No problem. Remember, you always agree. No problem. Totally get it. What are you gonna do if they say no? They're gonna say one of two things. Oh, well, I do it anyways. Great. Let's go ahead and just get you signed up. Sometimes that happens. Like it's very rare, but sometimes they'll say something stupid like that. You're like, yeah, so let's just sign you up then. Okay. Typically what they'll say is, well, what if they say no? Well, I wouldn't do it. Okay, then you move here. Well, what would their objection be? Oh, it'd be the price. Well, we just went over price. Oh, so it's the price. Got it. So if we figure the price out, then you're able to move forward today, yeah? Yeah. Okay. Now, if you go through that, let's say they switch to the price and you go through that and they're like, nah, but I still can't do it. I still got to talk to them. That's the third time they've said it. That's a real objection. So then you go to what's called past agreements. Okay. So I'll give you an example of past agreement. I'm like, well, does your business partner let me ask you this. Does your business partner know you're struggling with this? Does she know that you want to improve? Like she supports you. She wants all that. Okay. So if she does that, then why would she be against you doing something that's going to help grow the business and she supports you in it? Why would she be opposed to this? Right? You're using agreements that they've already made. They're like, yeah, she supports me and all that stuff. You're like, yeah, so, and if the roles were reversed, would you support her? Yeah, so like, why would this be a problem? They still don't do it, you go to delayed payment. Delayed payment was the deposit that we said. It's like, all right, well, look, I'll tell you what. Like, they say for the fourth time, they're like, I got to talk to him, we got to talk to him. You're like, all right, cool, I get it. Look, I'll tell you what. Well, let's do this. Let's have you go ahead and down and put a deposit because you seem pretty certain. But if you go back and you talk to your business partner and that she says she doesn't want you to make more money and be successful and actually like improve your life. Like if she says that, I'll just send you the money back and we'll call it a day. Sound fair enough? If they still don't do it, that's it. Like that's 4 tries. If you don't get it in that, it's done. Cool? Okay. Any questions?
No.
Boom. Okay. Next one. Think about it. All right. This pricing program is $2,500. I just got to think about it. Cool. No problem. Let me ask you a question. This is how I like to do it. Do you know what the word deciding means in Latin? They're like, no, like it means to cut off. So what we have to do today is we have to decide on which future we're cutting off, the future of your path or the future of your dreams or the past of your inaction, because making no decision is still a decision. So if you're cool with it, let me walk you through 3 ways you can make the decision today. Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
Great. So the first thing, do you think you're more likely or less likely to hit your result working with us? Like more likely. Okay. Cool. Check. Do you think we'll deliver what was promised? Yeah. I think you guys will. Okay. So you think we'll deliver what we said? Yeah. Okay. And then do you have access to cash? Yeah, I have access to cash. Okay. So actually, you have all the information you need to make a decision. Decisions aren't made with time. They're made with information. You have it all. So if you know those 3 things, let's go ahead and move you forward because you actually know. You ready? They'll either take it from there or they'll still say no. What do you think you do next? Delayed payment. You always do delayed payments if they can't do it. You're like, well, look, you seem pretty sure. You just really need to think about it, right? Okay, cool. What we do in this case, we'll take a deposit. Okay.
Do you think it goes a bit deeper than that?
What do you mean?
When they say, even after all of that, they know it'll help them. They trust you and it'll actually work.
Well, of course, they're not certain. Anytime someone says no, it's a lack of certainty. So what you can do is you go, well, I guess I don't understand. If you know all these 3 things, why aren't you able to move forward? And you got to try and pull it out of them. But some people, bro, they're just like, oh, I just need to think about it. And everything you say, they're just like, I just need to think about it. So finally, after a while, I'm just like, I do delayed payments. Because if they won't put down a refundable deposit, they're full of shit. Why would someone be against putting down a refundable deposit? That's zero risk. And I'm thinking, if I take your credit card and you don't sign an agreement and I run off with your money, what do you do to get it back?
Charge back.
It's not that big a deal. Like, people act like it's a huge deal. It's not. Okay. But yeah, of course, like you work through this. Like, this is very simplistic, but like, if they're like, well, yeah, I mean, that's true, but this, you're like, I mean, dude, just be honest with me. What's up? Like, you work through that, but if they still won't do it, then from here, you'll do delayed payment. Okay.
Is there like a certain metric that, or when you do get the delayed payment, like how much do you charge?
10%.
10%.
So for you, it'd be $250. If it's $2,500 a month, $250. Or if it's a 3-month commitment, it'd be $750.
Okay.
10%, because you don't have to, like, you can get any amount, but what you're trying to do is, like, if someone puts down 10%, I never had someone refund on 10% deposit.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I would charge $1,500 or $2,500. I grab like $100 deposit, and then they go.
But that's not enough.
Yeah, that's
higher. So 10%. So the higher the deposit, the more commitment. The lower the deposit, less commitment. So they probably were just like, oh, it's $100 you guys, and then they just ghost you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Higher deposit. All right, last one, belief. So belief is just, they're just scared, right? So they get to the end, and a lot of calls, if they might say price or spouse or think about it, and then you work through it, and they're like, I still can't. What is that? That's belief. They're scared, right? So the easiest way to handle belief is you just go, totally get it. What's the worst thing you could think about happening? Like, what's the worst case scenario with this? Oh, it doesn't work. I'm like, okay, cool. So it's the worst case scenario is that this doesn't work, right? Okay, let me walk you through 3 things. So there's only 3 scenarios here. The first is you do it and it works. That's what we all want, right? The second is you do it and it doesn't work and you get a refund, right? The third is you do nothing and you stay stuck. So out of all 3 of those things, the only one that ensures that you don't move forward is doing nothing. So if that's the case, let's go ahead and move you forward because there's no risk. Sound fair enough?
Yeah.
Boom. They don't do it, delayed payment. You always go for delayed payments because, like, dude, if you get off a call and they haven't given you anything, the chance they come back is like less than 10%. It's like 5%. So if someone really is that scared or has an issue, I always go for delayed payments. That's pretty much it, dude. If you practice those over and over and over again, that's all you really need to do and you'll close more deals. Questions?
No.
So from here, I feel like we've covered everything we need to cover, like to kind of take you A to Z through what you need to do. I'm going to open the floor if you have like any other questions or anything that's offhand or anything else or whatever. But I mean, that's pretty much like, since you're kind of starting from scratch slightly, that's pretty much what I would suggest you do.
Yeah. Okay.
And if any of it you disagree with or like it doesn't make sense, like let me know, because like this is your time and I'm giving you my best advice. But if you're like, yo, I don't want to do that, I'll give you different advice. Like,
I got you. Okay. I think everything's pretty straightforward and I have full clarity on it. I think I'll go home and do a bunch. But other than that, how do you kind of deal with like family or like them just not being on board all the whole thing?
Yeah, you just accept that they won't. Think of it this way, dude. So when I was your age, not your age, but I was 25. At 22. So I started a business at 22. You made more money than I have. I made $2,000 in 2 years. You made like 10 times what I made. So that's great. Understand where your family's coming from. So the biggest thing is like try to be empathetic. Think of it this way. Your family doesn't really care if you're rich. They just want you to be okay. Right? If you think about it, you do too for most people. Like you're like, oh, are you good? Are you happy? Okay. You don't give a shit, right? You're not like, oh, you're not rich? Oh, like you don't think something's wrong. So what you're doing, there's a high chance of failure for most people because they don't stick with it. They're soft, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So understand that the reason your family's not on board is they're worried about you. right? The hard part is like you want them to be on board and you want them to support you, but they're not. And so you're kind of like, and then the longer the business doesn't work, you get more pressure from them because like, hey, it's not working. Like, dude, I had a ton of pressure because I didn't make any money for 2 years. And I was older than you. I was 22, 23. At 18, it's like, bro, you can for 4 years. I wouldn't say a word. I'd be like, you can just do whatever. So I think realistically, just so you know, they're not going to be on board with it until you start having some success. They're just not. And it's hard, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. That's why most people can't do it, because they can't push through the adversity. But like, just so you know, like when I did it, my girlfriend broke up with me literally because of it. Her mom didn't like me anymore. My family made fun of me. My brothers, who ended up working for me, would like say jokes like, so how's the business going? You know, like they're being sarcastic. Like they knew it wasn't going well.
Yeah.
So, and you're 18 and you're young. So they're gonna be like, oh, he's stupid, he's naive, whatever they're thinking. It just understand that it's not coming from a place of hate. It's just coming from a place of like, they genuinely want you to be okay. Just the same reason they want you to graduate high school, right? Because if you didn't graduate high school, it doesn't mean you can't be okay. It's just, well, you didn't graduate high school, so now you can't get into college. You can't get into college. What if this doesn't work out? That's where their heads go. They're just thinking worst case scenario. You're like, you're fine. You're like, yo, I don't give a shit. But that's not what they're thinking. So the way I dealt with it is I just realized like they weren't going to be on board until I was successful. And I just reframed it by saying, it's not because they don't want me to be successful. They just want to make sure I'm okay.
Yeah. Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, I think just this past like couple months, as dudes, the business come to a stop, like, and or it's either like stopped or it's going backwards. And so at that point, like I just been going through it, keep putting in the reps, and I feel like that kind of put me in a mindset where I was becoming like complacent and stuff. And it's just been so recently that I'm tired of being like, all right, like I got all this time on my hands, like, dude, like it's trying to get closing positions, like it's trying to.
Well, the other thing too is like if that woman who works with you is open to it, instead of spending the money on the ads, have her help you invest in your education. Like have her get you in a mastermind. Have her get like, bro, you'll learn a lot taking programs. Like you can learn a lot. Like I started selling an online fitness program for $47, which is, I didn't make any money for 2 years. I made $2,000 in 2 years. So you make more in a month than I made in 2 years. So you're ahead of me. So you're doing great. After 2 years, I finally started selling high ticket. I was doing $50,000 a month organically. All the money I was making, I would hire coaches to teach me paid ads. I spent about $50,000 on coaches, another 20, 30 grand on ads before I got it to work. So imagine making all that money and then paying it to someone else. But I knew I had to do it to learn the skills. And so I think your mindset just needs to be, you need to invest in yourself. The money you make, put it back into the business, put it into your education, learn sales, learn marketing, learn messaging, take the masterminds, like, because it's like, it's just so vital to your success. Like you got to build skills right now.
Should you expect, like, even if you do the coaching program or whatever, and it doesn't have the success you want,
it's still good. Doesn't matter. You still learn things not to do. It's like having a girlfriend. It's like you learn what you don't want. Like that's just as powerful as knowing what to do as knowing what not to do. You understand? And yeah, it's 80-20. So 80% of the programs you take will be, 20 will be good. But that's life. Like tough shit. Like it's what you have to do. It's not like, you know, it's just, it is what it is. But the reason most people won't be successful is they're like, yeah, I don't want to do that. There's too much risk. It's like, well, the alternative is what? You have a lesser life. Remember, what you're going through right now, whenever I'm having a hard time, I just think if you want an extraordinary life, you have to do difficult things, right? Because by definition, extraordinary means you're doing things other people aren't doing, which means you'd have to do things other people aren't doing, right? So if you have an ordinary life, by definition, it means you do ordinary things, right? So it means you're doing things everyone does. So what you're going through right now, if you invest in coaching, if you train, if you do the sales reps, even what you've been doing this year, you will get extraordinary outcomes if you stick with it. If you stop sticking with it, you will get ordinary outcomes. So whenever I'm having a hard time in my business or my life, I take a breath and I'm like, this is why I'm where I'm at. Because I will do the hard things that no one else will do. Understand?
Yeah.
So just don't shy away from it. Like the story that you want can only become that if you do hard things. The harder it is, the better the story. You understand? So like if someone comes, like I had a guy I played football with. He lived in Ghana, came over from Ghana, was a track star for our team, walked on the football team, played 6 games, went fifth pick in the NFL draft, had an 8-figure contract. Pretty badass story, but pretty fucking hard, right? But that's why it's a badass story, right? So you can't have it both ways. You can't have this extraordinary life and then always have it easy. So like if you're like, yeah, so I started my business and my dad gave me a bunch of money and they all supported me and it was really easy. And they basically, every time I ran out of money, they just gave me more. And, you know, I got into every program for free and all this stuff. It's like, that sounds like not a great story at all. It sounds like you got spoon fed. No one would respect you. But if you're 18 and you're eating, taking calls and you traveled out here, right? You paid to be out here, didn't you? That's dope, dude. Like you'll have a cooler story. So I think what you're going through right now, the biggest thing is when you feel down, just understand like it will make sense in the future. When I was going through, so check this out. When I was making no money, and then I'll shut up, I was selling that $47 program, but my mentor taught me about active campaign, click funnels, websites, Facebook pixels. I learned all these things, but I wasn't making any money. And I was broke. And after 2 years, I'm like, bro, f this, right? And then finally, I switched to Hight ticket, which is what you're doing, which you should start with as a beginner. And I started making money. And then guess what? All those things that I'd done, door-to-door sales, worked as a server, learned how to build websites and funnels and Facebook, guess what happened? All that made sense. I'm like, oh, now I can use all this stuff, right? So a lot of the stuff you're going through right now, just understand like it will make sense later, dude. It's just do the work. Do the work. Like there's no shortcut. It's like you just have to work hard. You have to put in the reps. If you suck at something, you have to do it till you don't suck. And if you do suck, it doesn't like, no shit, you suck. You've never done it. Why would you be good? Right?
When do you think that, you know, at a certain point, like you're doing the right thing? I mean, obviously you're not going to, but what if I'm doing something, it's not making me money? Like I'm assuming the mind goes straight to like, this is not working.
There's only 2 reasons something isn't working. You're doing the wrong process or you suck at the process. You understand? So if I'm going to, I don't know, Disneyland, the wrong process means you turn right, you should turn left. You're just doing the completely wrong thing. Doing it wrong would mean you tried to get to Disneyland in a day, but you took a, tricycle. It's like, yeah, you'll get there next year. Like it's you're not doing the right work. So 9 times out of 10, if you're not getting results, usually, not always, but usually it's because you're not very good. Like you're not good at sales. You're probably not good at messaging. That's probably what the issue is. The only other solution is that you are good, but you suck at the strategy. It's probably a mixture of both. You probably don't have the best strategy and you probably suck at it. So how do you learn? You find mentors, you watch all their YouTubes, you buy their programs, you take the courses. That's what you do, bro.
Yes.
Like if you graduated high school, what would you be doing right now? You'd be in college. Do you pay to go to college?
Yeah.
Okay, so why wouldn't you pay to learn skills? Like that's the people get all butthurt. They're like, oh, it's $10,000. I'm like, bro, you know how much it is to go to college? It's like $250,000. You know how much? Like I was gonna go finish school at Texas A&M. Dude, it's $60,000 a semester. Holy shit, dude, are you kidding me? $60,000? And then people are like, oh, $5,000 for a course. So I think the thing you have to be willing to do is take big risks. Big risks, like invest in yourself. All the money you make should go. Don't buy stupid. Don't spend it on dumb girls and their purses. Spend it on you. Spend it on the courses. Spend it on the mentors. Spend it on the training, and then you will get better and you will learn what to do. And if you stick with it, it's only a matter of time until you get there. The only difference between how fast you get there and someone else is where you are on the ladder. So if your skill level is a 1, it'll take you longer than the guy whose skill level is an 8. But who gives a It's your journey, I didn't pick how I was born. I bet if I looked at Elon Musk's brain, he looks like if Elon Musk's brain was like his body, he's probably jacked as right. His muscles are literally gushing. If his brain, you get what I'm saying? Like his brain probably works at a level like we can't even comprehend. Do you understand? So what good is it for me to be like, oh well, Elon? It's like I'm not Elon though. So you're you. You're not competing with me. You're competing with you.
Yeah, I think in the solar thing, like we've just changed so much things, and so I question like, is it because
right? But why are you? So let's back up. Why are you changing stuff, and who's telling you to?
It's usually either the environment or something's not working.
No, literally, like who's telling you to change stuff? Do you just change stuff, or does someone tell you?
Well, I'll make that decision. Is that
okay? Yeah. So think of it. You have no experience, and you're trying to make decisions for what to change your business with no experience. So more than likely, what does that mean? Probably don't know what you're doing. You probably don't know what you're doing. And the other part is you probably suck at it too. It's probably both, dude. You probably aren't very good and you probably aren't doing the right things.
So I just gotta
But guess what? You're 18. So no, like of course you suck. Like if you were better than me, wouldn't that be a problem? I'm twice your age.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, so my advice for you is like, work your ass off, invest all your money into coaching and courses and whatever you want. If you want recommendations, like I can, give you some recommendations on I've taken pretty much every program out there almost all of them. I've spent $3 million on programs. So, but you're going to have to do that. I want you to understand, there's no way around it. There's no way around saving the money. There's no way around having a bad experience. It's going to happen and you're going to have to deal with it. And you're going to put some elbow grease on and deal with it. It's like, if you want to find your wife, you're going to get your heart broken probably, bro. It's just part of it. You can't avoid it. So the more you try to avoid it, the longer it's going to take for you to get there. The more you try to do it on your own and not pay money and not take the course, good luck. It's it ain't happening. You're not going to get there on your own. I don't care how smart you think you are. I mean, I'm a smart dude. I was a petroleum engineer. I had a 3.9 GPA. I got accepted into the number 2 school in the country. I played Division I football. I was jacked as f. You could go look at my old pictures when I was a bodybuilder. Jacked as f. Good with girls, great grades. I was living a good life. When I started business, I was clueless. I had no idea what to do. And the only way I got out of it, you know what happened to me? From 22 to 25, I made $2,000. And finally at 25, I was like, I would rather be homeless than keep being a loser. And that was it. And I just started investing all the money I had, and I didn't care what happened. I was like, I'll do whatever they say to the max. I don't give a f. I moved home to my parents. I was desperate. So that might have to happen to you. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe mentally you're like, oh, I don't know. I'm only willing to do this much work. I'm only willing to go to here, but success doesn't work that way. If this is the bar, you either raise yourself to the bar or you don't become successful. But the good news is you're 18. You're not going to be good at stuff. You're going to be terrible. You need to learn. So start taking your bumps. Start doing the work. The sales team might be good for you. Go learn how to sell, take calls, get paid to learn. They're paying you. That's a great environment. It's free. You're literally making money to take their calls that they pay for. Yeah, that's great. It doesn't matter. Just take action. You need to learn skills. So it's learn sales, learn marketing, take the courses until it works. And eventually it will work. It's not rocket science. It's just hard. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So the game plan is it's literally just prioritize my skill set and learning and taking the coaching programs.
Yeah, bro. Why do you think I get paid so much money? Do you think it's because I'm just good at one thing, or I'm good at a million things?
Yeah.
I'm good at everything. But how do you think that started? One step at a time. And then guess what happens? You skill stack until you're rich. You're doing whatever you want. You skill stack.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any questions. I'm let me get in my computer, bro. Let's go.
Yeah. So the thing is, a couple things, I'll let you go and finish with them. You're 18 years old, so give yourself a pat on the back for even doing this. Dude, you got bigger nuts than most men. Most guys will never even do this. You're 18. So first, recognize you're headed the right direction, 100%. Number 2 is don't let what anyone else says around you affect you. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what they say. Doesn't matter what they think. When you die, it won't matter. I promise you, if you go down this path, when you die, you will be grateful you did, because you're not going to wish you took less risk. You're going to wish you took more risk. You understand? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have been glad if I had stuck with engineering because it was safe. I'm so glad I did this. And then the third thing is just invest in yourself. Take the courses, take the coaching, find a guy on YouTube that you really like, only watch his shit. I don't care who it is. Only watch their shit, implement it, take sales calls, train, buy courses. Go to udemy.com. They have cheap courses. Go there, start there. They're anywhere from $7, $100. It's more in your price range. Start there. You don't have to be in a $10,000 mastermind. Start there. Just you got to learn. You cannot just keep doing the business on your own and hoping you'll figure it out. That is not a fast pathway to success. If you think about it, you've been stuck here for a year. But if you actually knew what to do, you could probably triple your income in 30 days. It doesn't take time, dude. It takes info, right? Just like you say on calls. It doesn't take time to become successful. It takes information. The reason you're not being successful is you don't have the tools or the information that you need. So you got to go get it. So put in the reps. I did door-to-door sales for 9 months. You know how many doors I knocked a day? 100 doors a day. So how many days are in a month? 30. So 30, 60, 90, 180, what the hell? I don't know. Let's just say it's 300 days. Dude, if you talked 300 days times 100, T, what is that? 30,000?
How many?
300 times 100? 30,000?
Yeah.
Okay, so I talked to 30,000 people. You think you'd be fucking good after 30,000 people? Mm-hmm. Dude, you bet your fucking ass. That's why I'm good at sales. Everyone's like, how do you get so good at sales? I'm like, I talked to 30,000 people, but it sucked ass. You know what? Dude, I literally had guns pulled on me, knives pulled on me. No girls. You're out there with a bunch of dudes. They drop you off in the middle of nowhere and pick you up 8 hours later in the middle of nowhere. People fucking hate you. Dude, but like my mental fortitude, the skills I learned. So anyways, that's where I'll leave you off, is just, you got a lot of hard work ahead of you. Embrace the work. Like, you're young, you can handle it. You got your life ahead of you. And like, dude, if you do that in 4 years, you'll be making money that grown adults don't make, like, for sure, if you stick with it.
Okay, just to wrap up real quick.
Yeah.
What are some habits you recommend, like gym, like
day-to-day? So here's what I do. And I also say this with a caveat. You don't have to do certain things to be successful, but there are patterns. So here's what I like to do. I like to wake up early to start, because I'm not bothered with people, right? You don't have to do that. Some people wake up later. I like to usually get up at 4:30 or 5. I'll meditate. Okay. So if you're not meditating, get into it. It's not 5 or 10 minutes. I'm not talking like 12 hours. Like, just learn to like get into it. Okay. I like it a lot. You don't have to. That's what I like. Do that. When that's done, I will get in the cold plunge. You don't have to do that either. That's extra. Like, that's like a rich guy hobby. But I'm going to do that. I just haven't gotten it filled up because I have to get that hose fixed and all that stuff. Anyways, go to the gym, come back. I have a sauna in the other room. I go in there. It's like a portable sauna in my house. And then I just start working. And then I just work. And the work is like whatever you need to do to move the needle. And then I work all day until bed, and I go to bed. And I like working. I like improving. I like pushing myself. So I would say the biggest things, like, definitely work out, and then work out, get a lot of sleep, and eat healthy most of the time. You can enjoy life a little bit, but dude, I'm telling you, if you just eat healthy and you sleep a lot and you work out, your energy will be like up here. I don't drink any caffeine. I feel way better when I don't drink caffeine. Can't even tell you how much better I feel. It takes a little bit to wean off of it, but it's good. And then just, I guess the only other thing I do is, like, I don't know if you see in the house, but you see those like sheets right there? So those sheets, what I did is I wrote down all the things like I want to be, right? You could read it on the way out, read some of it. And what happens is, you ever heard like, our thoughts become our words become our actions become our results. So a lot of stuff we say to ourselves is because of our environment. Like, our parents are like, oh, you can't do it. You're stupid. The girl says you're ugly. So all of a sudden you start thinking that. You're like, I'm ugly. I'm stupid, whatever. Okay. So something I've tried to do recently is I say the things that I want to think, but you have to say them consciously, because you know what your unconscious is, right? It's like you're not aware. So like, you brush your teeth and you don't even think about it. It's your unconscious. Conscious is like what we're aware of, what we see. Like, you and me, I can see you. It's conscious, right? So by doing that, by saying that morning and night, I say it morning and night, and then I record it too. Like, I'll say it and I record myself and listen to it. What happens is, when you get in those situations, those thoughts will come to your head and you'll act differently. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, if a guy says, I hate women, and then another guy says he loves women, and they're in the same room, they're going to have totally different experiences, right? So wouldn't you want to be the guy who says he loves women, not hates women? It's the same thing in life. A lot of it, and this might take you 10 years to figure out. I didn't figure this out till this year. I'm 31. So when I was your age, I was like, that sounds like a bunch of crock. Trust me. But your thoughts really matter. And so if you can control your thoughts by saying those things, what happens is, when you get in tough situations, like, let's say someone pisses you off, usually you cuss them out. If you say like, I'm nice to everyone I meet, that thought will pop up if you say it every day, and you'll be like, you'll handle it differently. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. And so those are all the habits I have. No caffeine, lots of sleep, eat healthy most of the time, gym. I go to the gym 6-7 days a week, every time. And then like, watch what you say to yourself, and then just work your ass off, dude. Just work your ass off, and good things will happen.
When do you feel like you deserve to like go party or like have fun or treat yourself or something?
I mean, to be honest, when I was broke, I not very often, because I had no money. So I was like, I don't deserve to party. I think I started doing it when I started making some money, and I was like, okay, like, I need to relax. Or sometimes you just work so hard and for so long, your brain is just so foggy. It's like, you got to shut it down. You understand?
Yeah.
Yesterday I went and partied. So this week I got up at 4:30 every day. Last night I went and partied. I got home pretty late, and then I slept today later than usual. Today is my off day from the gym. I usually take 1 day a week off, or 0 to 1. So no more than 1. I was fine with that. And I knew you were coming today, so I started at 12. I did one with you. I got one more. But I don't do that very often. And it's like, you don't need to. It's like, it's once in a while. It's like a pizza. You don't need to eat pizza every night, so you can have it once in a while. You know? Yeah, I don't think it's bad to do that. I think you need to live life a little bit, but when you're where you're at right now, bro, it's like, if you work hard now, you'll live a better life in a few years. So it's like, if you sacrifice now when you're 18, when you're 22, you might be living like a 30-year-old or a 40-year-old. Trust me, girls want to be with guys who are taking care of themselves and getting shit done. They don't want to be with guys who are broke and live at mom's house. So you're in the best part of your life. Like, you can literally fuck up for the next 4 years and you're fine. Literally. Like, no one would judge you at 22 if you were broke. Like literally, fast forward now 4 years, no one would judge you. I'd be like, oh, you're 22? You're in a great spot. You're literally 18. So just work your ass off and be disciplined and surround yourself with guys you want to be like, especially older guys. Older guys will mentor you. I'd mentor you. Like, it's like you're a young guy and you're trying to improve. Like, I love that, right? So surround yourself with the guys you want to be like. And then remember, the reason they say that you become the average of the 5 people you're around is why? Because the things they say become your thoughts. Do you understand that? That's why you do that. Because if you constantly hear me say this, guess what will start happening? So Tanner says this and Tanner says, and all of a sudden your mind starts thinking that. That's why it's so important what you think and what you say to yourself. It's also important who you surround yourself around. Because if they're like, oh, business is stupid, this, that, like, guess what your brain starts to do? And you, even if you think it doesn't affect you, it does. Music affects you. What types of music you listen to, it all does, dude. Anyways, that was probably a little deep, but.
No, it was good. Yeah.
Okay? All right.
Appreciate it, bro.
Dude, thanks for coming. Come here. Appreciate you, bro. You need anything, let me know.
Yeah.
And just stick with it. He's going to do his video with you.
I think I got what I was looking for. To be honest, I came here looking for some clarity, some guidance, and I got it. I think when I get home, I got full clarity on what needs to be done. I have full clarity on what has to be happening like months from now as well. It's just so cool. There's no question about it, bro. Like, I mean, I see him, he's living the lifestyle, he has the mindset. I mean, how you see him in his content and then how you see him in person is completely the same, and how transparent honest he is. It's like, yeah, I mean, there's no question. Like, I got to put in the work, got to get it done, and like, I'll see this motherfucker in like 5 years. No. I mean, I don't really like to set expectations, but I was expecting, like, just from seeing this content and what you were kind of showing me, talking about, like, I expected to come here and get what I wanted, and it happened. Like, yeah, so they aligned very well. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's 2 things. Like, one, it's lack of confidence within themselves or whatever, and the number 2 is lack of clarity of like where to go. And so I would build your confidence through not only doing the work, but also having some form of mentor, somebody bigger than you. It doesn't even need to be like exponentially big like Tanner versus me, but more like someone that's just doing like a little bit better than you, like follow their footsteps. So it's like actually legit and works. And then number 2, for the uncertainty, you would also get that through like someone doing this better already. Like, just kind of find someone that's doing what you want to do and doing it better than you. And then they'll walk you through, because as long as you can show them that you're actually there, you're not wasting their time. Yeah, I mean, like he said, like, you're young, like, you don't know, so go figure out. Like, find someone who does know and figure it out. And I think that once you take the action and you actually listen and implement what they say, you will build that confidence and you will build that certainty and where you need to be going at your current position. Dude, I can't wait to go home, bro. Get the shit going, dude. I'm actually more excited than, like, I just have full clarity. Like, let's go. Like, you know what I mean? So there's no question.